Welcome back to The Bridge on WSAV. You know, there's a lot of talk about cyber security these days and how we have to make sure that we're so careful online. I mean, think about it. We shop online. I mean, we go into our accounts and, you know, obviously we have to have passwords, but how can we make sure that we are protected and nobody is going to get into our personal information? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about with our coastal expert from Infinity Inc. Chuck Brown joins us again. He's the CEO here at Infinity Inc. Hi, Chuck. It's great to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
So now this is a scary thing for me because I always think about this, and you know, I've had some bad luck, of course, with passwords and that kind of thing. So what do you recommend for making strong passwords? Because as a technology expert, I'm sure you must hear a lot about hacking and cyber threats.
We definitely hear about some scary cyber threats. There are a lot of rules of thumb about passwords. We like to go with Microsoft's guidelines since they're obviously a big name in the industry. And their guidelines are that your password is at least 8 characters long. It doesn't contain your name, any formal names, any real names, any company names. Doesn't contain any complete words, is significantly different than any of your previous passwords, and it contains a combination of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters.
Okay, so you've just messed up all of my passwords. I mean, that's the scary thing. So what you're saying is the word password, I mean, it's not going to keep someone out of my account for very long if I'm using things that, you know, are easy to figure out.
Right. That's true, and you're really not even worried about keeping a person out. The problem, the threat, is because there are programs out there that are designed to randomly run through hundreds of thousands of passwords to try different things. And common things are easier to crack is the bottom line. If someone does want to attack you to get into your things, they're going to check your street address, your birth city, your spouse's name, your dog's name, things that are common information. Most of the information needed to crack most passwords you can find on Facebook.
What can I do if one of my passwords has been compromised on a site, let's say I use all the time? Okay. I mean, and would I even know?
Well, you can find out. One of the services we offer is called a dark web scan. And what it does is looks at the domains, the email addresses your company uses, and searches certain databases on the dark web to see if that shows up, implying that one or more of your employees' passwords have been compromised. So that's something we can help you with. As for what you can do if you've actually been compromised, that's a little more difficult. The first thing to do in any case, anytime a website that you're dealing with, you hear it's been compromised, change your passwords. It's a good idea to change your passwords regularly anyway, but if you've been compromised, you certainly want to change every password you can get your hands on.
And when we change our passwords, we want to make sure, as you said, like it's not something that's just very general. We want to make sure that, you know, because I've heard talk about make sure that you use different characters or numbers or that kind of thing.
Well, one of the biggest things in a hacker's favor is that we're all creatures of habit. A study in 2017 showed that the average business user had 191 passwords, and another study showed that 59% of people use the same password over and over again. So the way this typically works is a hacker or ring will get into a company's database. Let's say an Amazon or a Sears or a Walmart or any public company. They will hack into that company. They will get those passwords. Well, if they have one of your passwords, chances are extremely good that they can now get into multiple other accounts that you have. So it's kind of a chain effect. Once the door's open, they have access to a lot of things.
So what you would recommend too is not just having one general password. I mean, you want to have a lot of different passwords. And you want to make sure that they are, you know, difficult to remember almost. I mean, if I do that, so how am I going to remember all of the passwords if I have to create different ones and make them so hard to remember?
Right. Well, like you said, ideally, every password you have is going to be different. You won't have any two the same, and every one will be so complex you can't remember it. Now, that sounds difficult, and it is, because the whole point of it is that you can't remember it, so it's going to be hard to guess. So the next step is to consider using a password manager. What a password manager does is they're usually cloud-based. They are a place where you can store all your passwords, and they make that very easy. For example, the password managers that we use, when you go to a website and type in a password, it will ask you if you want it to remember that password for you. When you go to a website, it will fill in the password for you, so you don't even have to type it in. So if you have one of these long 15-digit passwords, you don't have to copy it from one place to the other. The password manager will put it in for you. And these password managers maintain the passwords in a database that's encrypted and secure, and you will now have to remember one secure password to get into that password manager.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, how many passwords do you have? You've been involved with technology and you're our coastal expert. How many passwords do you have?
I think it's 1,700, 1,800 passwords, something like that.
You have 1,700 passwords, but you use like a password manager.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what you guys do here at Infinity Inc.
We, as a company, use a very sophisticated password manager. In fact, it's one of the things that separates us from a lot of our competition. When we have access to our clients' computers and our clients' networks, they entrust us with their passwords. So we feel like an obligation to keep those passwords very secure. So we use a tool that actually tracks who accesses the passwords, when they accessed it, so that if there's a change in staff, for example, I can go back and see what passwords they accessed in the last 30 days, and I can automatically change those passwords to something more difficult to guess. So we use a commercial tool to do that, which we can assist other companies with as well.
Well, let me tell you, you've got me talked into going home and changing all of my passwords across the board, at work, at home, personal, business, everything. You know, a lot of viewers watching right now, and I'm sure that they'd like to know if you have any other recommendations on how we can protect ourselves and our businesses and our personal information online.
The best thing is a consultation, to sit down and talk to someone like us, talk to your service provider, talk about the vulnerabilities that you have. You know, what accesses do you have to the outside world? Security, it's also important to lock out what you don't need. Instead of allowing everything and then trying to figure out what you should disallow, take the other approach. Disallow everything and allow only what you need. So the tighter you can make those locks, the more secure you're going to be.
Chuck, I want to thank you for joining us and providing us all the information you did today. It's always great to see you.
Thanks, good to see you.
If you'd like more information on Infinity Inc. or any of our Coastal Experts, just check out our Coastal Experts page. You'll find that at wsav.com.